It's training camp season. Today we're looking at the Seattle Seahawks, and we're going to watch Jalen Milroe throw the ball around, work through some drills, everything else. Before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now because we're looking at the practice clips from training camp every single day. We're looking at your rookies, those guys who are climbing depth charts, winning those position battles. And on top of that, we're looking at those guys you're getting ready to draft in fantasy football, whether or not they're going to be on the field with those late round picks you're getting ready to burn on those players. Click that button. Stop missing out. Know what your players are doing behind the scenes. We're looking at Jalen Milroe today. I got 5 minutes of clips. We're going to talk some ball. We're going to loop this. We're going to have some fun here today. But it's Jalen Milroe season with the Seattle Seahawks. What does that mean? That means he's developing here as one of the backups. And that's what we're expecting all along. He was not drafted to be the starter. He was expected to come in, work, take steps forward in his development, one time, one day, be the starting quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks. That's what we're expecting out of him. That could be sooner than later. That could be later than sooner. But one day, it's going to be his time. Why are we excited about Jalen Milroe? He has a cannon. He can let it loose. Not only can he let it loose with the cannon, but he can take off on the ground. That's going to be great for multiple different reasons depending on how you want to watch the game. If you're a Seattle fan, it's not like you haven't had a third-round pick hit at quarterback before. It's not like you haven't. And on top of that, he'll bring excitement to your team. The good, bad, ugly, whatever happens, it's going to be exciting. Like if he hits, he's going to be a big-time asset. And what I mean by hitting, it's developing from this point going forward. So if you're looking at what he did at Alabama, what he's doing now, I'm talking about if he hits, developing, getting better from here because he's got the tools. He's got the tools. He can make the plays. And one thing I'm hearing from camp, which I heard from rookie camp, mini camp, and OTAs, he's coming in early, like 5 a.m., studying, working, putting the time in. The other quarterbacks are talking him up. He's made some plays in camp. You're seeing the arm right now. You're seeing him throw it. He's slinging the rock, guys. You see that arm right there? Short pass. Just comes off smooth, easy. That's what you're getting from Jalen Milroe. You're seeing him work through some drills. You see him step back, sling the rock around. Now, if you're asking questions for fantasy football, he's a backup quarterback. So traditional redraft leagues, you're watching from afar. You're probably not drafting him. You're not drafting him. He doesn't have ADP on underdog drafts right now. Even best ball as a home run Hail Mary for the last few weeks of the season, he does not have an ADP on underdog. But for dynasty rookie drafts, I'm looking at Superflex, 2QB, whatever. You're looking at him when the running backs start to run out for you and when the wide receiver depth starts to get a little shaky for you. You're looking at those day 3 running backs. You're looking at when the wide receiver's about done. Once you get past like the Jack Betch range. So like middle-ish of the second round. And really depends on how your league treats quarterbacks. If they're still fluid in your Superflex league, maybe you can take that risk and maybe you can get them later. Maybe. If it's like pulling teeth to get quarterbacks in your league, then the value's up there. Like, you got to make moves on quarterbacks. If a first-round quarterback falls in your Superflex draft and you hate that quarterback, guess what? You got to make that move. Like Bo Nix last year. You got to make that move. A round 3 quarterback who's got some rushing potential to him, guess what? You don't like him, but no one's training quarterbacks. And if he even gets the opportunity, sniffs the field, gets that buzz, guess what? You got to make that move and you got to go above ADP. It's just how your league works. And you have to tier it off with guys that you like and guys you're lukewarm with. And you take them over those lukewarm second-round picks. And that's how it works. And you'll see some ADP goes in round 3. But you know in your heart of hearts where you're looking at quarterbacks and you're looking at this and I can't trade for one and I only got 2 or 3 and it's a little iffy. But if this guy that's fell in the draft a little bit hits, gets some opportunity, he could even suck and he climbs value, I got to pick him. That's your fantasy analysis. Now, in redraft, if he sees the field, sneezes on the field, you got to pick him up. You got to pick him up due to the rushing production. Like, even if you get Justin Fields out of him, those are QB1 weeks. That's the thing about that, and that could be your potential for fantasy football is multiple QB1 weeks, no matter the play. That's the thing about that. That is the gamble you're making with that. And it's not going to be much in redraft because it's a pickup off the waiver wire at quarterback. But it's also how many quarterbacks you got on your roster and how your strategy. But we'll talk about that in season when that happens. If I'm a Seattle fan, I'm looking at Jalen Milroe. I'm looking at the price tag. Some people were mock drafting him in the first round. Some people early second round. Everybody was wondering where he was going to go in the draft. Seattle got him at a good discount. Say if things don't work out with Sam Darnold long term, they're looking to make changes, or if he starts stepping forward, developing in training camp, you got yourselves a player. You got yourself some potential. Like if it doesn't work out, what are you out? What are you out? Most third-round picks in the league waffle out anyways. That's a weird statement. Waffle out. I just created that on the fly. But still, like if he materializes compared to most third-round picks, if he materializes to his upside, you got a player that is going to be a cornerstone piece to your team that could potentially be like a player you tell your grandkids about, another quarterback for a half decade or more on your team that you're excited about. Like, say, if he gets the opportunity to start some games and fails, at the bare minimum, you're looking at a quarterback that's going to get you excited. And you paid a third-round pick for that. What's the worst that's going to happen? You got Locke there. I'm not forgetting about Locke. Some people mention him whenever I talk about him, especially during OTAs and minicamp. It's just the what-ifs. And we talk rookies a lot. Rookie talk's huge for what we do here for fantasy football. We look for the deep dives. We look for the waiver wire assets, those sleepers in your drafts, those guys for dynasty. We look deep fantasy football, not the cookie cutter stuff where it's 5 guys and it's Marvin Harrison Jr., Jamar Chase, a top running. We look deep into this. We look at the what ifs. And for fantasy football, people are looking at that rushing upside. They're going to see how he develops over the long term. For dynasty, some people's been holding him for years for Devy fantasy football, campus to Canton. They've been holding him for some time. He's got a cannon on him. He's got good feet. There it is. You see a little bit of that. You saw a little bit of that. He's going to be one of the most mobile quarterbacks in the league. All he has to do is disperse the football a little bit better. And the downside, like on the tape, yeah, inefficiencies, inconsistent, week to week out of Alabama, off the mark in warm-ups at the Senior Bowl. We have those highlights. We made fun of those. But when you look at the good here, you got a guy with a cannon that can spray it downfield, coming in early every single day, that the coaching staff's excited about, that's ramping up, that's giving him time to develop. They understand what they got. That's the thing. They understand what they got. They're going to give him some years, hopefully, some time to develop. If things get bad, they bring him in. They bring him in, see what they got, and then they move on. But there's really nothing to lose here with a third-round pick. A third-round pick, the odds of a lot of players at a lot of positions is really against them. You'll get some hitters, and you're thinking about the hitters from there, but you're not looking at the full pool. You look at the full pool and what they've done throughout their careers, and you got some guys that might be so-so good depth chart guys, got a little bit of a role that hung on to your teams. But upside-wise, if he taps into that, you're looking at a guy that could be a face of the league, face of the Seahawks. And if it fizzles out, there's nothing really to hurt you. It ain't going to hurt you for the long term. You just move on. Maybe you have Darnold for another year. Maybe you win games anyways with him developing in the background. And then it's 2027 or something and he hits. But you got to watch him in training camp every single year. What is he doing? The joint practices is when you're going to tell. When he gets those moments, those opportunities, those 2-minute drills. How is he running the offense against the defense who's fighting for a job next week? So some of those guys are going to be cut after some of those preseason games. That's something to pay attention to. Some of those guys are realizing, hey, my time in the NFL might be over. I'm going to get a little chippy here. I'm going to take it 110%. How's he going to look playing against those defenses? He ain't playing it with the ones. He ain't going to get that opportunity right now. They got to get flow with Darnold. That makes sense. That makes sense. We're not expecting that. But the what if? If this happens, that happens, that happens, and we got that all over the league right now. And training camp is what if time. How are things materializing? This is a long-term what if. That's the thing about this. But it could be rather beautiful for Seattle and fantasy football. And they could be fun to watch. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I want to hear about that. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.